Term 1 at Warwick is an unusual one by anybody's standards. We welcome more freshers than ever before. It's a general meeting that actually met quorum, and for 2 weeks at the end of the term, the grass outside the Art Centre was covered by the tents of student protesters standing up to the university's fees policy. And that might all sound well and good, but that meant here at the Students' Union, there was quite a lot of hard work to be done behind the scenes. The general meeting, what did it mean for Warwick students?
They got the chance to talk about Bacardi, which had previously been banned by Union Council. It was a good chance for the students to come and talk about what they thought about it, and to talk about and how they should respond, and kind of what the union should be doing in terms of this.
I kind of became a bit disenfranchised with union democracy after the first general meeting, because I was watching online because unfortunately I couldn't attend, I had prior engagements. That's not to say that I think union democracy is an inherently bad thing, because I don't. It's just that the year before there had been some issues which had come up in the referendum, and they'd been voted for by not the whole student body, obviously, because people seem to be pretty disengaged with student democracy as a whole. But I just think that when a large majority of students who have voted for something vote for a particular issue, I don't think it's the place of a small number of people on Union Council and the few other people they can rope along to overturn such a majority decision.
We had the first general meeting, over 300 people in attendance at the beginning, which is fantastic and knocks all records over at least the last kind of 5 or 6 years out of the window. So that was absolutely fantastic. I think the main thing that we kind of celebrated at that one was our first attempt at doing any kind of online meetings. And we live streamed the meeting for the first time and had kind of the recording of it available for students as well. And at different points during the night, 500 people watched online, which is brilliant numbers. So very happy. But Bacardi for me was the low point, mainly because it resulted in the need to have the subsequent general meetings. It first came up at the Union Council meeting, and after that, when it was taken to general meeting, we had a complicated situation where some students were proposing lifting the ban on Bacardi, other people wanted to reinforce the boycott at general meeting level. So that was a bit complicated to try and kind of like merge those two policies into one. So that was a bit of a nightmare.
So all was quiet on campus with the end of term fast approaching. But students woke up one day in week 8 to find an array of tents spread out across the grass here outside the Art Centre. Occupy Warwick had begun. Now, that was a source of some controversy between the Students' Union and the university. This is private land, it's not free to occupy. So the university management quickly called in the SABs, Leo Bow and Sean Ruston. What did the occupation mean for the Students' Union and its relationship with the university?
It was particularly challenging, I think, because although we had a mandate given to us at a general meeting to support the occupation, at the same time the occupation itself had a very strong sense of its own identity, and they were very much against the idea of having an individual represent them at whatever levels.
Do you think there was any danger of the university having to forcibly remove the protesters?
I think what was interesting from our side was that the goalposts sort of kept changing from one side or the other, and there was a certain level of paranoia, some would say justified, from the university when they were seen to be trying to enforce sort of ultimatums basically over and over and over again. But there was effectively a stalemate, and luckily I think for us and for the occupiers as well, they ended up staying for the 2 weeks that they had intended on staying for. We also sort of got daily, very official letters from the university, technically for the occupiers, but through us. So it was addressed to us as though we had a responsibility to ensure that all of this ended peacefully and on sort of happy terms, as it were.
Sean, what was the Occupy movement at Warwick all about?
So I think the general idea was to kind of do something innovative in terms of an occupation. Obviously, previously there had been occupation in the Art Centre, but they hadn't really got anywhere. Do something innovative in terms of an occupation and kind of bring attention to the idea of re-establishing the kind of discourse around public university and the university as a public good. But in terms of endorsing the alternative white paper and providing space for people to talk about these things, I think you can moderate success.
Overall then, Leo, term 1 freshers, the general meeting at Occupy Warwick, has it been a success?
Yeah, term 1 was absolutely fantastic. You really saw 3 really, really vibrant different vibrant areas of student life really come out from Freshers Week. Of course, is always a very exciting time to kick off the year for thousands of first years and master students. Really passionate debate around some really controversial issues during the general meeting, including looking at the big question of union democracy itself. But of course, every term is ultimately different. And I think in isolation, that term one was absolutely fantastic. It was a roller coaster ride for everyone, I think, and it was really fun, and I'm really happy to have been a part of it.